like it's going good. Ken, we have... Yeah. Well, anyways, here we go. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen like we knew it would. You'd think I'd know to put these dang things on before the show starts. Ah! Oh, yeah! Here we go! Whoa, yeah, well things will change, leaves will fall and it will rain. Transform before your eyes with no time for chasing. Why? Oh, you never know just how life is going to go. So you jump in your boat and row, row, row. Jump in your boat and row, row, row. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen like we knew it would. Oh, you gotta aim high and go for your pie in the sky. Go ahead and trust yourself, 'cause everything will right itself. It's alright, we're getting it done. Oh, you never know just how life is gonna go. So you jump in your boat and row, row, row. Jump in your boat and row, row, row. Here we go, all together. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen like we knew it would. Woo! Something's gonna happen. Yeah, welcome to the show. Ken, would you like to join me up here? Ken Simmons, up to the stage, please. How are you, sir?
I'm great. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Look, I've got this worked out
great.
now. See, we're up to here. Now, Ken, you've recently moved to Gulfport, is that correct?
Yeah, I moved to Gulfport in November, came down from Cleveland.
Cleveland.
We'd been spending part of the winters for the last 20 years in Ruskin, and I found that Gulfport was my favorite place.
Oh.
So I moved here.
Congratulations, I'm glad you did. And you found, how'd you find the Laura Shepard show?
I was looking on the Facebook, and I found it there, and I also found some references, some internet. Somebody sent me a link, and it looked interesting, so I thought I'd come and help out.
Okay, yeah, so you showed up here 2 weeks ago for the last show, and you volunteered to help us out behind the camera, because we were short a camera person.
Yeah.
But now, since he's just moved to town, he doesn't have much to do, so he's kind of joined our team. So Ken, thank you. I appreciate having you.
I like being around creative people.
Oh, well, thank you. Yay. All right, now, when we were talking last week, it came out that you help people, what do we call it? Career assistance.
Yes, I try to help people focus on the career that would be most appropriate for them based upon their interests, aptitudes, and talents. I got started with this when I was in human resources hiring mechanical engineers and electrical engineers in Ohio who unfortunately studied the wrong career in college, got onto the job and found out they didn't like it. So I was able to work with the local school system to do some career awareness programming in the high school, bringing kids into the plant and making presentations at their school. And then later on, I set up a program for Catholic Social Services in Cleveland to help laid-off workers get back to work. And there I would run into people who said, I'm free. I got laid off of this job I hated. Now help me find something I enjoy doing. And that was fun.
Yeah.
I try to bring out touch with the inner child, their interests, abilities, and help them understand how that relates to themselves in the real world of work, and taught them to do interpersonal networking to find their own job.
Okay, now, so let's say I've studied engineering and I've paid a lot of money for my engineering degree, and I go in to be an engineer and I hate it. I can't switch. Can I switch?
There's such things as transferable skills that I work with people a lot of times with that, and I help them identify what they might. Help them take a look at everything they've done, everything they've studied, no matter whether it was an avocation, a paid job, or whatever. And I help them identify the things they enjoy doing, want to do again, and things that are accomplishments for them, even though somebody said it was an accomplishment. I help them put all those together and develop a focus. And a lot of times, like I said, they can transfer skills from one career area to another as long as they recognize what it is and how they can put it into a new focus. And it was really fun.
Oh, that sounds super interesting. So how long might this career counseling go on for?
It could take a couple weeks, or it could take a couple hours. Just depends upon how focused the person is on. See, I help them do the work, and they have to do the work. And sometimes it's people that are really resistant to do the work. It takes them longer. Sometimes they do the work faster. So it's kind of a self-paced thing.
And so the work might be writing down some skills, or...
Yeah, I start them off by taking a separate sheet of paper for each job or avocation they've ever had and list everything they did in bullets, like took out the trash and washed the floor. And then
I can't find a job with that. Yeah. What do you mean it's important that I wash the floors?
But what we have, though, is you've got all these things, the bullets for each job, and then you go through and you identify things you enjoy doing, when you're doing, again, and what accomplishments. The way I started with this is because people came to me and said they're always getting hired for the job they hate. And they show me a chronological resume, and they're listing everything they ever did. And the people are picking out the things that they need, regardless of whether the person really wants to do it or not, and the people are bound to get the job because they were selected, even though it might not be the best thing for them. So what I try to do is help them develop a focus functional resume, which only portrays the things they really want to do.
Focused functional resume. A focused functional resume. Okay.
Which only lists those things that they really and truly want to do again, and things that they can use to help improve the lot of a company.
Well, what if I don't want to work? I just want to bang on my drum all day.
Then maybe we can find an audience for you.
Were you successful?
Well, yeah, as long as the people were progressing along the path that I had helped them, yes, they could be successful. It was all depending upon how much they wanted to devote to this process.
And are you still doing that for people now?
On a volunteer basis, when I encounter people who need it, either I encounter them and they come to me, and I help them through the process, and it's enlightening to help them focus. Because the group that I really enjoyed working with the most were the divorced women who never held a job. And I helped them identify all of the life experiences and all of the volunteer activities that they had, and help them do the focus functional resume. And they were really surprised when we were able to monetize the value that they had to a company, and they were astounded as to what they were giving away for so many years.
Right. Well, I mean, giving it away, they were...
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But they turned around, because when they came to me, they were, I've lost my husband, I lost my income, I lost my value, and I was able to work with them and really get them up to the point where they could actually say, this is what I can do for somebody, and this is what I'm worth, and now I'm going to go out and get a job.
Okay, now what if I'm working and I don't really love my job, but I'm paying my bills, and everybody knows work is work? And what do you recommend for people like that? Do you recommend I just throw it all in, or?
Well, a lot of it starts with introspection, and that's what I try to do with people, is help them tap into themselves to identify specifically what it is that they want to do, what makes them feel the most active and alive and most contributory to the world in general.
Yeah. Wow. I wonder, I mean, if you ask me these questions, well, I like being happy. I like talking to people. I'm like, I guess some people don't like talking to people, so they would put, like, I don't want to talk to anybody at the top of the list.
Well, fortunately, the career areas are very broad, and you can generally find something that you might want to do based upon the needs of organizations and so forth. It's amazing how we can take the people's interest and focus on something that would be beneficial to them and to another organization.
Now, are there other people like you out there doing this job for people that don't live around here? I mean,
Oh, I'm sure there are. I just came from Cleveland, and I was helping people in Cleveland. Now I'm trying to help people here, and
you're helping me.
One of the advantages, I think, that I don't have to charge for it, so I'm doing it on a volunteer basis, helping people. That what I find is that many of the people that really need the service can't afford it.
Well, right.
And I really never felt comfortable trying to charge people who didn't have money, who really needed the services. So I've been able to do it on a free basis.
Oh, that's great. And I guess there's probably books out there, and some people learn good from books. But
yeah, it's better. I try to do it on a personal, experiential basis, and I find it very helpful to be able to engage people and talk through things and kind of mirror back things that they tell me, so that they are able to understand how it sounds to another person, because sometimes it really enhances thoughts that they might have, or clarify thoughts that they might have.
All right, so they might, drop a little hint in a sentence that maybe they don't even know themselves
right.
what they want. Like, I can't even imagine trying to find a job that,
yeah. Yeah, I try to help people do networking, interpersonal networking, using such things as professional associations and
professional associations. What's a professional association?
It's a group of people in a career area that come together to do network and career development. Just about any career has at least one professional association, and the way you can find them is to just visit or call your reference librarian or your local library and say, I'm interested in finding a professional association dealing with such and such, and they'll be able to give you the name of the organization and a contact person. And I always advise people to call the contact person first before they attempt to go to a meeting, because then they have somebody who can get to know them and help them meet people in the meeting that would be most helpful for them to do the networking.
So are most professional associations open to strangers just wandering in?
Yeah.
Oh.
Generally they will invite a person as a guest, and I've done this for many years. If you find an organization and don't have time to locate a contact person, if you know where the professional association is in the meeting, generally they have a membership table to be out in the hallway outside in the meeting room, and I just encourage people to go up to the table and say, I'm interested in learning about your organization, I'd like to come as a guest. And what I found is the people are very hospitable and will invite the individual in and help them to meet people with the organization.
All right, so do we have any quick tips for people that are, say, I just feel for people that already have a job and they're not sure whether they should stay in it or leave it. What do you say about that?
I think the thing that you need to look at is, do you look forward to going to the job in the morning?
No, I hate my job. Or no, I don't even hate it.
Right.
Well, how about I'm just dull? And I just got 5 more years till retirement.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting at that point for you to make a list of the things that you like about the job and you don't like about the job, and the things you might find to be missing, or the things you might want to remove from the job, and that will give you somewhat of an idea of either how you can tolerate what's left of the time that you need to spend there, if you decide that you need to spend there that additional time before retirement, or if you want to look at those things and to make a move to something that's more palatable. And that's what I find it helpful for me to sit down with these people, because it kind of acts as a sounding board to help them identify truly how they feel about these things and identify what might be next for them.
Yeah, it just seems so. We're always taught, go to work. We don't care what you like. You got to earn a living. Get in there. Like it's work, 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 work. isn't it kind of unrealistic to expect that you could have a job that you would actually enjoy? Is that?
No, I don't think it's unrealistic at all.
No. So there's people out there with jobs they enjoy?
Yep.
Right.
You look at how many hours a week.
We got one out there in the audience.
You look at how many hours a week you spend working.
Well, lots.
Yes, and you definitely want to be able to enjoy what you're doing so that you don't suffer the adverse effects, which could be being antisocial to people around you or antisocial to your family, because a lot of times it spreads. Your discontent spreads farther than you recognize in ways that you're not recognizing because of the way that you feel
about your job
and about yourself.
And sometimes, what if it's just you like your job all right, but you can't stand your coworkers?
Then one of the things you can do is talk to the people around you. Maybe start with your human resource department or your supervisor and see if there might be a way of getting into a situation where the whole environment is more palatable for you. Or if it's not, then you might want to look at moving to another situation. But I always try to have people look at their present situation, try to improve their present situation first if they can before they make a move.
Yeah. Well, I think just the idea that it is possible to have work that you enjoy is a new way of thinking about it for people, and I think that's wonderful.
Well, it was surprising when I was running the employment assistance program. I would start talking to people about trying to find the job they enjoyed, and their immediate response was, "I'm supposed to enjoy my job?"
Yeah.
And I helped them identify how they might be able to look at it differently, and really, you don't have to enjoy life after your job.
Oh, you mean you don't have to wait until after your job to enjoy life?
Right,
Is that what you
exactly,
mean?
yeah.
Well, I was blessed. I worked, I made up my own job. I worked with people in their yards. I was a gardener, but I always made the person I was gardening for had to be there. And I used to say, you can sit there and drink a martini, but you got to keep me company. So I always enjoyed my work because I like being outside and I like talking to people. And it never felt like work. And I made a good living that way. And I used to have clients that would say, well, I trust you. You can come do this by yourself. I'll pay you. And I'm like, I don't want to sit in your yard by myself. And I made a living that way, and my clients were people that cared about their yards, and so the yards were more interesting. And so I was blessed that way. All right, well, folks out there it is. There you know, it is possible to enjoy your job.
It is, very definitely.
Ken, I'm really pleased that you're on this team here with us behind the camera. We had a little problem last week that the sound was dead and we didn't even know it. And now there's nobody behind the camera because you're here. But anyways, I'm going to let you go back over there.
Well, thank you for having me.
And if anybody, thank you for sharing with us that. You never know in the world. There's so many jobs, helping people find jobs. There's a job. So many jobs out there. But if you're interested in getting in touch with Ken, give us a message and we'll see what we can do about it. There's a phone number up there. We'll type all this stuff into the description a little later because it's hard for me to do it on the telephone. I have to wait till after the show and get out the computer. You know. All right. At this point, Maybel, would you come join us on the stage?
Yes, do you want me to play first? Or
I want you to both.
Okay.
You bring it all up here, girlfriend. I want you to sit and talk for a minute.
Okay. Well,
And then sorry. You got to put that down. And yay! So good to see you.
it is so great
Let me
to
put
be
this
here.
on here for you somehow. Now, what I know about you is you just got the job of your dreams.
Well, speaking of jobs, I do work in the public school system, so there is some grains that you have to take. But I just started teaching pre-kindergarten, 4-year-old special ed. And I love it. I was teaching kindergarten, and buddy, we play all day. My class band, they were clapping on the 2 and the 4 first day I got the instruments out.
You have a class band. You can do that because you're teaching pre-K.
Oh, of course. I always have a class band. In schools, they encourage you to have a morning meeting with your class. This came a few years ago. Teachers already were. But I always start my day with instruments and music, and
Aw.
it's fun for me. I do enjoy my job.
All right. Well, I'm glad you enjoy your
Yeah,
job.
first week of school is last week. We're up and running, and here we go.
Here we go.
Everybody's
okay.
healthy, yeah.
So there you go. Here's living proof. 2 of us actually that actually enjoyed our jobs.
Well, teachers, we love what we do, and we love making a difference and loving kids. And then I'm in it for the money.
Yeah. I mean, that's why people go to work, isn't it?
We're in it for the money. No, just teasing. You can't put a price tag on some of the memories I get. So I'm fortunate and blessed. Well, Laura, time before last when I came on the show, you gave me a little present that you found thrifting.
Oh.
And
I thought it was a cute little cowboy shirt. Wasn't it?
I have something with your name on it.
All right. Let's see it, sister. Oh, my goodness. It's gift giving time. What is this?
Well, I hit the jackpot at the thrift store the other week.
There's some fans.
Well, it's hot.
Yes, it's hot. There we go. Thank you so much. I will enjoy that.
Yeah, I've got
And what
Mine
is
says
this?
Hallelujah, but
Now
I'm
this is
I
crazy.
don't know how to.
What is this?
I didn't know
Goodness
what it was
gracious.
when I bought it, but I threw it in my cart because I said I'm buying it. Whatever.
Oh, Lord. What in the world? Now, what in the world? What made you think?
I got several. Somebody got rid of their dance recital outfits.
All right,
And
folks.
actually, last night when I saw you, the colors you're wearing, see, this
Yeah,
is
these
kind
are
of
my colors.
It's off the shoulder here.
That's so me.
And
Not-
see,
Yes.
there's the bottom. It is so you.
All right. Well,
And the
maybe,
little rosette. There's a
Should
little rosette.
should
That
I put it on while you go play
I
a
feel
song?
like you should. Laura.
Okay. What do you think? Does the audience want me to go try this on while we get?
Oh
okay.
yes, in the comments.
All
I bet
right.
you're getting a million.
All right.
of them.
Okay. We'll do this just for fun. And I see it here.
And there's one more thing. I got I almost wore French today just
So we could be.
So we'd be the Dixie
I think
Darlings.
this is hilarious, and never in a million years would I have picked something like this out. But I'm going to give
Oh,
myself a
wait.
try, see if I can get it on during one show. And you've also given me this live from Cowgirl Church. Now, will you explain a little bit about the
That is my
Cowgirl Church?
CD. Well, during the pandemic, I started live streaming from home, like a lot of musicians, and it just. I was faithful to it. I went on the road last summer and went to people's homes and live streamed while you were in the Netherlands.
Oh, yeah. No,
I was keeping
New
up.
Zealand, yeah.
Or New
That's right.
Zealand.
I was keeping up. You were
with
keeping up.
you.
Yep.
And my live stream, it became Cowgirl Church because I like to put who I am into live streaming and into music. And I used to say my first album was going to be called Dive Bars and Jesus.
Dive bars and Jesus.
That pretty much sums me up. But this is live from Cowgirl Church. This is it's a live stream that I did last spring, and yeah, so I'm happy to share it with you, and I'm out sharing them around.
Yep. And so there's one up here if somebody wants one, or they can get in touch with you.
I brought it with me by donation, and everyone who donates, we'll talk later about one shoe at a time. But anyway, I'm sending them to my donors.
What we're going to do now is we're going to let you play a song.
Alrighty.
You might have, depending on how long it takes me to get into this outfit, you might have to play two.
Well, that's all right.
And
I
then-
never mind to play
And
a couple.
then we'll get back and talk about one shoe at a time, which is really super interesting. So let's see what I can do
Do
here.
I leave this on when I play?
I reckon you should.
Okay.
How we doing out there, folks? Doing great. Everybody good? All right. You're gonna take it. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you can see. Can you see this little? Yeah. You point that down there for us. You can pick up the whole thing. There's a stomp box down here, and that's the drum set. I don't know what I'm gonna do here. Put this one like this and hope for the best.
I've got like Mickey ears or
Got
something.
Mickey ears or something.
Dysfunctional.
Let me put this behind the instrument there.
Alrighty.
All right, let's see. Okay, folks, do you believe it? Will I, in fact, come back out with this on? I don't know. Oh, Lord.
I put mine on. if hate's a choice. Do 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 do. No more tears and these eyes. No more devil in my ear. No more believable lies. I'm getting out of here. We're moving on. We're rising up from the ashes. What they took. We're moving on. Raising our voice. I choose love. If hate's a choice. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. It pays to be strong. Oh, it pays to be strong. You can be strong. Come take my hand. We're moving on. We're rising up from the ashes of what they took. We're moving on, raising our voice. Oh, I choose love if hate's a choice. There's fighting in the streets, sickness everywhere, kids with no food to eat, poverty of every kind. We're moving on, we're rising up from the ashes, what they took. We're moving on, raising our voice. Oh, I choose love, oh, I choose love, oh, I choose love. If hate's a choice. Do 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 do.
I was completely defeated by this song. I was defeated.
It's
How in the world?
okay.
How in the world?
So you have to go up through. Think of it like ice skating in the Olympics.
No, I mean people. No, I can't.
Maybe you have to start though.
Maybe you have to
At
start
one
this way.
point, I did have it on.
All right.
At one, it goes over your head, over the
gave it-
shoulder.
I gave it the good old-fashioned try, but I was defeated by
I love you. You'll have to work with it.
We'll have to work with
We'll
it.
have to work with it. And you know, even if you just cut the top off and make it a two-piece, I think that would work.
Make it a two-piece.
It-
I've been
now
defeated.
this is. I do think you have it on backwards though, because this strap.
That explains everything.
You never know what's going to happen here on the
Okay,
Laura
folks.
Shepard Show.
You never know what's going to happen on Laura Shepard Show.
I love you,
I'm gonna
Laura
do
Shepard.
this. I'm going to do it like
Who
this.
knew?
All right. Who knew?
That's how you go. You know, you cut it off, you tie that up, throw on your boots, and you're ready for Nashville,
There,
girl.
I am ready for this. Hold on.
Hallelujah. Woo, hot tamale.
Okay, folks, I did try. I was in there. I was all doubled up. I was like, you got to go to ice skating school before you can figure out. Please.
You want fame? Well, fame costs.
Fame
Right here's where you start paying.
All right. While you're up there stomping, tell us
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us a little bit about, I'm going to take this back from
Okay.
1 second, I don't know. All right. Whoo, people.
Shoot, doggies.
Phew.
I know.
This is the modesty part that you drape over your lap.
Complete with dangling modesty
Okay,
panel.
I'm getting some compliments from the audience, but all right. Now, one of the things that I really wanted to talk about with
Yes,
you
ma'am.
today
Thank you
is
for
your
inviting
new,
me.
You have an initiative, a project. What is it?
Well, you know, it is the very first. So Cowgirl Church is not really a church. It's just music. But, you know, I try to Well, I had I guess you could call it a vision. I felt like I needed to do something that was ministry work for Cowgirl Church. Because I don't think you have to be a church to help people, right?
Right.
So it's just a friend of mine a few years ago, through a church, raised money for shoes, $100 gift cards for the boys that live at the Joshua House. And I say boys, but they're young men, they're teenagers. And they live in a group home, they're in foster care. And it was a way to encourage them going back to school, to get them some nice shoes. And I just thought it was such a good idea because I'm a teacher. I've seen kids from 5 years old to 15 years old tease each other about their shoes. It's real.
They tease me about no shoes, I can tell you that.
Well, and when you're an adult or when you're a kid from a good family, okay, so your family didn't have money and you wore discount shoes from Walmart and you were fine. Great. Foster kids don't have the benefit of some of those lessons. They don't have the benefit of parents. And so giving them $100 to go to a nice store and buy nice shoes so when they get to school they can feel good about themselves.
And they get to pick out their own shoes.
They get to pick them out, except Crocs, just kidding. But they get to pick out what they want. And we don't talk about self-esteem issues with boys. It seems like we always talk about self-esteem issues, we're talking about girls. But of course, young men have self-esteem issues, and they don't obviously talk about it. But I just think this is a great way. It's not sympathy. It's not, oh, you poor foster kid, here's some shoes. It's investing. It's social capital. It's saying, I'm investing in your social capital. And then who knows what that boy is going to do, that young man is going to do. Maybe he'll try out for a sports team because we put him in the room in his shoes. Maybe he'll join a club because we put him in the room because he, feels good about who he is. And then who knows what connection that will make. He took AP biology because we put him in the room, and there's his AP biology teacher, a male role model who's going to mentor this young man and give him things that he's not able to get right now. And I feel like every person deserves a hug on their way out the door. Have a good day.
Aww.
And every time they tie those shoes, it's a way of giving them a hug and saying, have a good day. And it's a way of parents, they pray for their kids' safety when they go to school. And it's a way of giving them a little extra protection because maybe somebody won't mess with them that day because they don't have shoes they can pick on. Find something else.
Okay, so if this is something that appeals to you, people can make a donation.
Yes, we are raising, 40 guys at the Joshua House. They are reopening it. They just remodeled it. End of September, 40 young men are moving in. $4,000, 100 times 40. We have already raised 1,000. So I'm a quarter of the way. I can't believe it.
That's amazing.
We are 1/4 of the way there. My One Shoe at a Time fundraiser is on my Facebook page, Maybel Lynn. My music page is Maybel Lynn. If you go to Facebook, you can find a link. I'll be sharing it today. I'll share it in the comments of the Laura Shepherd Show.
We'll get it in the description after this show. I'll get out the computer and we can put some things in the description.
It's real easy. You just click to donate. Everyone who donates, I'm going to send a Live from Cowgirl Church CD to you.
Yay.
And you get to be a part of fighting the good fight.
Okay. I'm going to, wait, is there a question out there?
Yeah, I wanted to know if it was a 501c3.
Is it a 501c3?
This is the first time I've done anything like this. The Joshua House is Friends of the Joshua House, but if I had my fundraiser go through them, they wouldn't be able to sift out the portion for our fundraiser, and I didn't want things to get tight over there and for them to decide to just order everybody. I want them to have the experience, so I wanted to kind of keep control of the funding so we could make sure that they get to go to Foot Locker and buy their shoes.
Your own 501c3?
I did through a fundraising software called Fundraiser. They manage for now, they help manage the fundraising aspect. But if you could help me, I think Cowgirl Church is moving up.
Moving on up. Okay, I'm going to let you play one more song while I put some clothes on.
Laura, this is a trip. I always have so much fun here. I just love you.
I can't believe I even tried to put this on, folks.
I knew you would. I mean,
this is the last let me do a little shaky.
woo! Well,
all right, that's it. I'm not even sure.
Laura has you wear some fabulous clothes. It just always been an admirer. Let me get these strings. Well, okay. Well. You're not bad, 'cause somebody called you. I don't believe lies people tell you. You're wonderful the way God made you. So keep your head up, honey. He's gonna bless you. You're not bad 'cause mama called you. It's not your fault that your daddy left you. You're the sum of all your dots connected. Oh honey, you're one of a kind. You're just getting it perfected. You drive a car, you could buy a Lincoln. You could pay your mortgage, honey. You could buy a mansion. They stand tall in your perception. So honey, see it all start when you look at your reflection. And little birdie say tweet, delete, delete. Little birdie say tweet, delete, delete. Little birdie say, whoa, little birdie. You're not bad, 'cause your mama called you. It's not your fault that your daddy left you. You're the sum of all your dots connected. Honey, you're one of a kind. You're just getting it perfected. And little birdie say tweet, delete, delete. Little birdie say tweet, delete, delete. Whoa, little birdie, tweet, delete. Oh honey, you're one of a kind. You're just getting it perfected. Yeah, you're one of a kind. You're just getting it perfected. That's my new one.
Thank you, Maybel.
Thank you, Lord Shepherd. It's a pleasure to be here. And the dress-up party
The
was
dress
the
up
best.
party was pretty traumatic. I'm not sure I shave enough for that outfit. When I was doing my little dance, I was like, uh-oh, I hope I don't,
Laura.
upset people.
You're one of a kind.
Listen, I want to give you this before you leave the stage. These are some flowers, and this is some lemongrass. And so when you get home, you make yourself some lemongrass tea, and you enjoy these flowers. And thank you so much for having come. And
thank you for inviting me.
yes.
I so appreciate
Yes,
it. I'm
and
so
maybe-
glad you're back and up and running. I love this
yay! Well, thank you
show.
for
And thank
everything you
gentlemen,
do.
for being here.
And
Ready to shake it?
you know, Ken, you can have one of these too. I thought I'd already given you one.
Let me.
You
me
check.
check. I
Because
think I
I thought I had already given you one, which is why I was giving you flowers. But anyway,
have one
there's
in
a
the
CD
archives
for Ken. There's one for you and there's one for Rob. So, if you don't have one, you can get it.
I'll check. I have a big stack of local.
Yes, well, you check. You check, because I got more. We can, let's see how the rest of our show goes, and maybe we can play a song together at the end.
Oh, sure.
And I noticed you brought some peaches for us to eat afterwards in the audience. And yeah, and thank you. You're just a real giver.
Thank you for your peaches.
Yeah. Woo-wee.
Your music, too.
That was some excitement right there. All right, Rob, come and join us on the stage here. We might get a chance to play Something's Gonna Happen, or Carry My Rain at the end. Let's see what goes on here. Rob,
Hi.
welcome aboard, Rob.
Thank you, Laura, for having me.
Okay, are you gonna show the people your shoes, Rob? Like
Rainbow shoes.
rainbow shoes. So if one of them fellas in the Joshua house wanted to, he could buy rainbow shoes.
You need to go shopping with me. Is what needs to happen.
All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm delighted that you're
I
here.
think I have both of you all down for drivers when we go back.
Oh yeah, okay. Now we're collecting up because we need drivers. Is that it? You need drivers.
Eventually, yes, we're going to need people to help pull the shopping trip together.
Okay, so we're gonna
Stay tuned.
stay tuned.
And I want to ask you, do they need any creative writers to go into the home and work with the boys on doing poetry and stuff?
So, yeah, so.
Come on back up here so we can hear you.
Okay, so.
Sorry.
No, that's right.
I've been thinking about this myself. So the Friends of the Joshua House, if you go to Facebook, they have a page. Right now, they're looking for volunteers to be receptionists one night a week for like 3 hours. And I was thinking, that's a perfect moment to do something like that. You're there at the desk where you can, because, you know, if you approach a teenager and say, hey, do you want to creative write, they'll be like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
if you sit there and write your poetry and you've got your books and it's all through relationships with kids, you know.
Sure.
You build that relationship and man, I bet you could start something amazing. And don't they need creative outlets
Amen.
versus Facebook posts?
Absolutely. All right. So, yeah.
that's-
So there you go. Oh, I love this show. I love how people, get together out here. All right, now pipe down out there in the audience. All right, now, Rob, you are a poet.
Yes, ma'am. I'm a
And-
writer too. I write fiction, screenplays, plays, fiction, poetry. I do a little bit of everything.
And you applied to be Gulfport's Poet Laureate when you were living in Gulfport, and you got selected.
Yes,
And then you
ma'am.
moved, so now we're in a kerfluffle.
Yes,
There's a kerfluffle.
We're in a kerfluffle because they said to me after I applied for the thing, I said, well, I'm no longer a Gulfport resident. Oh, you have to be a Gulfport resident.
That makes
But
sense.
Audrey Jessen, who is the current head of the Friends of the Library, because they had a major explosion.
Kerfluffle.
Yeah, kerfuffles. So she took over.
Yeah.
So she cleared it with the board, so I believe I am now, but I haven't heard from her since she went off to Paris for her vacation, so I haven't
I
heard
guess
anything.
it's like those politicians that move into a neighborhood just to get voted in or something. Anyways, but you were actually living in Gulfport when you applied.
Oh, I've been living in Gulfport. We moved out of Gulfport about 3 years ago.
Oh.
I got married to Tim, and we moved into a house in Gulfport, and then that they had rotten mold and mildew in the house. So, and the lady who was renting out the house.
How about kerfluffle? Anyway,
Yeah, all right.
so there's the kerfluffle. So you may or may not be our poet laureate, but at least you were selected as such, which
Yes.
means I guess you're. So you've written some poetry books.
Yes, I have 2 poetry books. The first one is called Junkie,
Yeah.
and it's published by Musick Publications. That's MUSEHICK Publications. My publisher is a wonderful guy, and he published this one. Then I just got the second book in the series I'm working on called A Letter to Frank and Other Poems, which is my love letter to Frank O'Hara, the famous New York City poet who was part of oh God, no, I can't think of the name of it now.
Well, that's all right. Do you want to read us a poem?
Yes.
Why don't you read us a poem?
I'm going to read you a poem from Junkie first, which is my first book. And then I'll read one from, okay, let's see here. I'll read you the title of the poem, Junkie. I wrote it for Charles Bukowski. If anyone knows, do you know who Charles Bukowski is? Okay. Junkie for Charles Bukowski. Can I swear on this show?
I guess he can swear on the show.
Okay.
Ish.
Okay.
Go ahead. I mean, if we're talking about Charles Bukowski.
Yeah.
This is literature, folks. Literature. Okay, carry on.
I'm a fucking junkie, man. But my drugs aren't horse, coke, crystal, or morphine. I'm a word junkie, a poet, and my pen is my needle. I don't drop acid, but my words on the page are spoken, burn and sizzle, scorch the ears of those who listen. If I don't write, I go cold turkey and puke poetry. Words, words, words are my fix. I'll be a fucking junkie poet, man, until I die.
Well, there you go. Now, how did you, because, you know, there's a lot of poets out there, how did you manage to get yourself published? What did you have to do for that?
Well, first of all, there was a, oh God, that's a good question. There's several people who were involved with this. We had another publishing company that went belly up. So that was Dark Horse Florida Publishing LLC, and they had a whole bunch of books published by the publisher who just decided to quit one day, and he left for health reasons.
Another kerfluffle.
Another kerfluffle. And I was looking for a poetry a publisher to send my poems to my books to. And luckily for me, I came across this guy at a poetry reading who was a friend of my friend Mona Bethke. Mona Bethke was the one who used to, her name was Mona Lisa in town in St. Pete. She promoted poetry, open mics, and had her whole series. So Paul and I hooked up, and I said, Paul, I'm looking for a publisher. He said, I'm a publisher. I said, well, would you be willing to listen? So I looked at my book, and he said, I like it. I'll reissue it. So this is the second edition of Junkie. The first one was published by Dark Horse Florida Publishing LLC, but like I said, that went belly up. So they did the second release of this one, and this one is my baby. This is the one that I'm particularly proud of. Is A Love Letter to Frank and Other Poems. Now, Frank O'Hara, I started to tell you, was part of the new school of writing and music and art in New York City during the 50s and 60s. And he died tragically being hit by a dune buggy. And I never got a chance to meet him, but I fell in love with him when I was watching YouTube one day, and I came up with a poem called Having a Coke with You. And I went, oh my God, this guy is he speaks to me. He speaks my language. So, oh, by the way, before I forget, I will be, if I do become the poet laureate, which I'm hoping I will be the first openly queer poet laureate of the city of Gulfport.
Okay, there you go.
So, yeah, so that's why
good.
I wear my shoes.
Okay, just letting us know.
So, yeah, so we're hoping that it'll come through, and I'll be the first openly queer poet laureate.
That's right. You are already the first one that's been selected. Whether you get to serve or not, you were at least chosen.
That's right.
Okay, why don't you read us another poem from your other book here?
Okay, A Letter to Frank and Other Poems. I'm going to read the title poem to that one. Where is it?
Looks like this weather's coming in. I think we're just going to barely squeak by on this show.
A Letter to Frank, for Frank O'Hara. Dear Frank, I write this to thank you for your generous spirit. You have become my muse. Your simple voice detailing daily experiences, your I do this, I do that poems seem to speak to me personally. The New York City you knew and loved has changed so much I doubt that you would recognize it. The city has overpriced itself. Rents have skyrocketed so high that the Coldwater Flats are a thing of the past. A simple plaque stands where the San Remo bar used to be, the watering hole where you and your friends John Ashbery, John LeSueur, Kenneth Koch, and James Schuyler breathed life into poetry, extracted life experiences into poetry. How I wish I could have been there. I have repeatedly dreamt of us together, walking through the village, endlessly talking about life, art, and poetry, holding hands, kissing, sharing a Coke, going to the Museum of Modern Art, talking with Willem de Kooning, Jackson Pollock, Mark Rothko, and Robert Motherwell, rooms which we would have called our sacred places. How proud you must have been then to rise from humble beginnings as a gift shop employee selling postcards to a curator of modern art, developing friendships as easily as the way you drank and smoked. I wrote a series of love poems to you, Frank. Did you know that? During my book release party in July 2018, a peculiar thing happened while I read one. A friend's cell phone suddenly began to ring. A strange melody filled the room, as our friend quickly got up to take the call. Afterwards, she apologized for the disruption, said that there was no one on the line, that there was no return number listed. Dearest Frank, you must know by now how much I love you, that I will always love you, and the magical way you wrote. Love, me.
Oh. Now,
Thanks.
what I find interesting is because when I think of poems, I think of, sometimes we think of, roses are red, violets are blue, something, and I love you. These don't rhyme. How
No.
come what makes them a poem?
Well, they're short, succinct. I take out all the hyperbole and just you choose my words wisely and pick every word carefully so that it doesn't, I don't like rhyming poetry, to be honest. I do like Emily Dickinson, but she's one of the few rhyming poetries. Frank didn't rhyme either. He was a part of this new school of what they call I do this, I do that. I get up in the morning, had a coffee, went had a Coke. I went downtown. I picked a book for some friends. I went to the subway. Billie Holiday died. I was sad, that kind of stuff. No, seriously, he wrote this poem called "The Day Lady Died" about he finally finds at the end that Lady Day, or what, Billie Holiday, her name was Lady, her nickname was Lady. She died of a heroin overdose or died of a heart attack due to all her heroin that she'd taken over the years. And he just saw the headline in a newspaper as he was standing getting cigarettes. And he smoked Gauloise cigarettes, which is a very strong, potent. I tried smoking one once just
to be poetry-ish?
And just to interpret to him. I took one drag, went, oh, God. So no, I don't smoke cigarettes. But I don't drink alcohol either. But I would like to have been in Frank's company at least once or twice during his lifetime to say, hey, I like your poetry, man. That's really cool. He was very supportive of poets and artists and musicians.
Okay, so
jazz.
you can be writing poetry even if it doesn't rhyme.
Right.
If you write a short, succinct speech. Read us one more poem.
Okay.
I mean, while you're here, you might as well hear another poem.
Okay. This is my prayer. A prayer to Frank O'Hara, the patron saint of postmodern poetry. Hail, Frank O'Hara, the muses are with you. Blessed are the poems that flow from your lips. Blessed are thy sweet words flowing like honey from the rock. Blessed be your pages of poetry scattered like manna in the wilderness, feeding and enriching my spirit. Blessed are your words that command Lana Turner to rise like Lazarus from his tomb. Blessed is the long-closed San Remo bar where your voice used to echo, spreading your words to those who would listen, spreading like a wildfire through the city's black-tarred streets. Blessed are my words that flow like the precious blood of the martyrs, bleeding into my white, sterile pages. Fill me with continued inspiration, now and forevermore. Amen.
All right, and from I'm seeing that your poets are your poems, at least the one that you've read, they've been inspired by people, which is interesting, other poets. Mm-hmm. And you were saying that you're working on a third book inspired by
artwork.
And what did you call it?
Okay, my new book that I'm currently working on is called Voices from the Night Museum. And basically what happens is you go into a museum at night, the reader will go into the museum at night, and the paintings on the walls will tell you their stories. So I wrote one, I can read one here if I could.
Okay, yeah.
Let's see if I can find it real fast. Okay, so this painting, the painting is called The Seated Woman with Legs Drawn Up. The model's name was Adele Herms.
Okay, now enunciate clearly for us.
Okay, seated woman with legs drawn up. The model's name was Adele Herms, Herms. It was painted in 1917, and the painter is Egon Schiele, S-C-H-I-E-L-E.
Okay, now enunciate very clearly for us.
She was exhausted for her day at the restaurant, waiting tables, heavy grease in the air, in her clothes, the customers, the crash of dishes and silverware, combined with savory delights of food, depressed her. All day longing to eat, but having no money to buy it with. The artist feels her hunger, not just for food, but for the intimacy she longs for. The war, heading towards its eventual decline, her lover killed in France at the Somme, her sex moist with longing. Yes, the artist thought, I feel your hunger, I sense your longing. He smells her stale perfume, her sweat. She stares at him with haunted eyes, and as she languidly lays her head on her knee, her desperate hunger rises. When the work is finished, he kisses her and pays her for a job well done. Now, she whispers, now I can eat.
Aww. Yeah, so that's just inspired by a picture.
By a painting, yep.
Okay.
So that's what the book's going to be called, Voices from the Night Museum. It's going to be a selection of poems based on artwork. I'm working on it now. Don't ask me when the release date is. I'm still working on some stuff. So it'll be probably about next year sometime.
Okay. We're coming to the end of our hour, so I'm going to take your microphone.
No!
Yes!
Oh.
And I thank you for having come. I thank you for your fun outfit, your beautiful outfit. I want to give you this CD.
And these two books are for you.
Oh, thank you. See, it's like this mutual gift giving. It's like Christmas every day
you
up
read
here.
them and let me know what you think.
I will.
You can contact me on my email address, poet.rob.mccabe@gmail.com.
Yep, and we'll try and write all that in the description. Yes, we're going to do one more little song on the way out.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, Rob, you're welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate your taking time to be here. Do you want to sing too, or carry my rain in a bushel basket? Put that on there. We'll just put that in.
Is it
A.
A.
A-B-E-A all the way around.
I gotcha.
Oh, no, is that going to be good? That's not. All right, let's see what we can do here. I don't have. Okay, thank you very much. I know there was a few comments saying nice things about you, Maybel, and you can read those a little later. Everybody, keep in touch. If anybody wants to support the Laura Shepherd Show, you can go on Patreon, PayPal. You can come be in the live audience. The blues, I'll tell you why. Go downtown when I wanna smoke. I'm treating life like a joke. I won't go sinning in my neighbor's yard, 'cause he's been working mighty hard. I go downtown, but I don't wear shoes. You know I don't sing the blues. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry the sunshine too. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, but let the sunshine through. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry my rain in a bushel basket, let the sunshine through. I won't get cross if you smile at me, and I'll throw my troubles out to sea. I don't wear black, I need a heart attack, 'cause we could be happy. How about that? Don't think much about what could go wrong, and I don't want to sing about it in a song. I look at you and shake my head. Lord knows some people they'd be better off dead. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry the sunshine too. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, but let the sunshine through. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry my rain in a bushel basket, let the sunshine through. I don't see Saturn when I look at the stars, but I know it's out there, the soul's far. Don't think much about the evening moon. Lord knows I don't see through. Carry my rain in a bushel basket. Carry my rain in a bushel basket. Carry my rain in a bushel basket. Let your sun shine through. You gotta let your sun shine through. All right. Goodbye.